Hey everyone, it's Destiny, and today I'm going to be doing a brutally honest review of clothes that I've made. For a little bit of background information, my grandmother gifted me my first sewing machine in 2018, and ever since then I've been teaching myself how to sew and make my own clothes. I actually grew up with her making a lot of the clothes and costumes that I would wear as a kid. And to be able to carry on that legacy, so to say, is really beautiful to me. I really owe it to her, and I couldn't be more grateful to her. Right now I would consider myself more of a hobbyist. A greater part of my sewing journey was taking clothes that existed in my closet and just tracing them and making patterns out of that. I've since graduated from that and moved on to draping directly onto my mannequin, which has been a lot easier for me to honestly get the hang of making clothes that fit on the body a little bit better. What I would end up encountering while drafting patterns from pre-existing pieces is that there would often be a lot more tailoring that I would have to do as I progressed, and so doing it directly onto the mannequin has made it a lot more simple, less redo work, for me at least, but I'm open to any suggestions. Throughout my sewing journey, I've worked on pieces that's alterations to an existing item, for example, turning a maxi skirt into a mini skirt. Today I'm going to be focusing only on pieces that I've either drafted from a pattern, whether it was traced from an existing garment or directly made onto my mannequin. I really want to be brutally honest with myself because I think it's important in terms of growth to acknowledge mistakes, learn from what you feel like you could have done better, and I feel like every single time I've done that on a piece, my next one comes out that much better. Doing a collective review, I feel like, will make me aware of things maybe I even forgot about. Ooh, so the first piece. This was circa 2019 Destiny. This was one of the first things that I made, actually, that was clothing related and wearable somewhat. And it's this pinstripe skirt. I'll show you the back. It's this is the brutal honesty that's gonna start. Okay, this skirt is terrible. It fits horribly. Like when you look at it, it's cute, but when you put it on, it's too small. I didn't add darts, so it's rather one-dimensional. So you can kind of see here where it doesn't have any shape to it in the back. The fabric does have a little bit of stretch to it, but not much or not enough for me to have putting darts into it. So I'm really disappointed in this one. I may go back and redo, try to salvage it as a skirt. I don't know. Seams. So this top stitch, I didn't know what I was doing, okay? I just straight up didn't know what I was doing. I did a top stitch. It didn't form to the body well. So every time I would breathe, I would pop a seam. I was like, okay, let me just go over it a dozen times. So there's I think like 3 layers of top stitching on this. Thank God it's black because you can't really see it's a little bit masked. And honestly, at first glance, it just looks like I used a really thick embroidery thread, but it's really just 3 layers of thread. Something that I did well, and I was completely by grace, I don't know how this happened. The pin striping on the side ended up lining up perfectly on this one side, but it didn't on this side. So I think I'm gonna maybe open it up on the sides and see if I can salvage it that way. If I had to give it a scale, the skirt on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 4.5. The half for the effort and being bold enough to attempt it. I think, and you know what, the pattern for this I got from a bodycon skirt from American Apparel that had significantly more stretch to the fabric. So that was something that I've learned very quickly. Make sure when you are tracing patterns from clothes that exist in your wardrobe, you're using the right matching fabric. So if the fabric that you're tracing has more stretch in it, make sure the fabric that you're working with also has equivalent amount of stretch, or you're gonna encounter this problem. Anyways, 4.5 out of 10 for this one. Now with it, I made this top. Now the top I think came out perfect, super cute. I'm really proud of 2019 Destiny for this, especially for the skill set that I had at the time. Because this was the first top that I made, I didn't want to do anything too tailored or structured because I didn't have the bandwidth to, or the knowledge to really understand how to do that just yet. When in doubt, use elastic. So I used an elastic bottom here, and that kind of gives me that little cinching that I would want at the bottom of the top, but still enough room so I can play around with sizing on it. Now there's a couple of details that I really like about it. Number one is the striping that I did on the straps. If you look at it from here, you can see that rather than being vertical, they're horizontal. And I think it just adds a cute layer and some visual depth to it, so it's not all just vertical lines. I also like the tie on the front. I think it's super cute. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I would probably give this one a 7, -3 points because I didn't add a lining. Some of the finishing is a little undone for my liking. You can kind of see here. I probably wouldn't even go back and change anything about it. I would leave it as is. Ooh, this next piece was supposed to be an upgrade of that original design that we just saw. I actually made the skirt. I don't know where the skirt is, to be honest with you guys. The skirt was that atrocious that I just kind of hid it away and didn't want to look at it ever again. So this is the top. Oh my god. You can already see the first problem with it. I'm just gonna dive into the problems with it. The idea and the thought process behind this piece was cute. I'm a little disappointed in some of the execution for it. I do love the color palette of this top. I think it's exquisite. I love the gold hardware against the really soft pinks and the off-white. But if I'm being totally honest with you, the elastic that I chose here is just a little too big. So I do have to tie it a little extra tighter. The biggest problem with this top is really the straps. Even the way I'm holding it, you can kind of see here where the top really just wants to hang forward because it's so heavy due to these details, which actually happen to be my favorite part about the top. Going back and looking back at this, I would definitely add the squares to the back side. That way it balances out the weight of the top and it's not falling forward every 2 minutes. Another thing that I would redo is these straps. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is removing these terrible adjustable straps that are really meant for a bra. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to add something different, maybe counterbalance the weight and add gold squares, maybe even remove them altogether. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this a 5. So I do need to add a lining to it. I also need to touch up on some of these raw finishes that I'm not too happy with. It was a cute idea. The execution just wasn't there. I do think it's worth going back and fixing. I don't think it's worth scrapping. So the next thing is this skirt. It's like a wool blend material, a little bit more stiffer, so it does fit like a circle skirt. I drafted this pattern from a pre-existing wrap skirt in my closet. I'm gonna be honest with you again, kind of like the mistake I made with this skirt. Clearly I didn't learn. I made a template or a pattern out of a skirt that was made of completely different material. It was not stiff, it was very flowy, and it ended up resulting in a circle skirt. I had no intentions of making it that way. I guess as Bob Ross would say, we don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents, because I ended up actually really liking that detail about the skirt. That it has some snap buttons that I did. Okay, and then you're gonna come to the first issue that I had with this skirt, which is the liner that I chose. Why I felt this was cute, I don't know. It honestly really bothers me that I chose this fabric. I don't know what came over me. And I like the fabric, I just don't like it for this use case. I like the snap buttons. I feel like they kind of pinch the fabric a little bit. The goal is for you not to be able to see any hardware and not to have any zippers or anything like that. Oh my god. And then here's another. So the hem on the back, it's not straight. And I don't know how that happened, but you can kind of see where it's not straight. It's not a straight line. It bothers me. Straight lines are really important. Also, the raw finishes on this, like Destiny, come on. At least I added darts in this one. It's cute, it works. Like I can wear it in the evening when it's dark out in an all black outfit where you can't really see the detail. If I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this a 4. Will I go back and fix it? Maybe. Kind of just want to repurpose the fabric for something else and see how that turns out for me, because I don't know how I could fix this since this is a one-pieced skirt. And then I can reuse these snap buttons for something else maybe. So this skirt was the first skirt, or the first item I ever made by just draping onto my mannequin. 100% did not know what I was doing, but it worked somewhat. First issue with this is that it's a little too high-waisted. It's practically under my bust. It's cute and it fits very well. I will give it that. I'm proud of Destiny in that sense. It does feel a little too high-waisted when you're wearing it, so when you take a deep breath, this fabric doesn't have any stretch to it. So when you take a deep breath, it's kind of like, I do think I could have done a better job of rolling the hem at the bottom. Things like this happen when I get to the end of a project and I just start rushing it, and that's something that I've noticed about a lot of these pieces. My biggest problems with them are details that I rush through. Going back, I would probably just call it a day, or rather than getting it done that same night. This skirt is also a little too long, so I do think I can salvage it and make it just a tiny bit shorter. I do have a tendency to make my skirts really short. Sorry, not sorry. But on a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely give this I give this an 8. The only thing that I do need to work on too is zippers. Like this is showing a little too much of the zipper. It could be a look, but I don't know. Okay, so this is my next piece. And this is a little, I'm not going to call it a top, it's a bralette. It'd be disrespectful to call this a top. I made this using leftover material from a pair of cargo pants that I turned into a pair of shorts. This was the first time I actually made a full liner on a piece. It's definitely not perfect, but it's for a first attempt at lining, I think it's a pretty darn good job. And it feels really nice to wear, so it's super soft on the skin. The cargo material was a little rough, especially as a top. Adding that satin liner definitely made a big difference. And then I put these eyelet hooks, and I realized I kind of put them on backwards, I think. So I've actually redone these straps from the original design that I had. It used to be a tie, so it would be like a black bow, but I just didn't make the tie straps long enough. So it was a bow, but it was a bow with really short tails. So it just didn't sit well on the shoulder, and it was also a little too stiff of fabric for that. So I went ahead and changed it to a fixed strap, and I like this a lot more. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would definitely give this an 8. It doesn't get a 10 because I had to make revisions to it. A 10 out of 10 is going to be a top that, or an item that I didn't make any adjustments to. So the next thing is this mini skirt, and this is actually the latest thing that I finished, and I love this. This is my favorite piece that I've ever made. It's so wearable. It's very mini. I like the finishing jobs that I did on it. There's no raw edges been out under that I have to trim or anything like that. There's also great darts that are super flattering. I actually made this piece by draping it 100% onto my mannequin. This is a one piece. I essentially draped it and wrapped it around the whole mannequin, and then I created darts to add shape to it. And so you can see here I have a diagonal dart running across the side, and then I have 2 in the back to give great dimension. I can't give it a 10. No, I can't give it a 10. You know why? Because it needs a lining. It's a little see-through, so I might just add a liner. On to the last piece. It's this denim top, and I actually made this out of the leftover fabric from another pair of shorts that I made. It's vintage Gap denim, which I kind of wish I would have taken the label off the shorts and sewn it in here because that would have been pretty cute. I didn't have a set pattern for this one. I started off with this part, the cups, I guess, and I traced a bikini top that I had, and then I added the liner from inside that bikini, and I slipped it into here, and it gave it this wonderful shape and a great amount of support, so I don't have to wear a bra with this, and it looks nice. You don't see anything poking out. And it also makes the denim super soft, so I added a liner to that. This was my very first attempt at actually add a liner, now that I realize, not that last top, but I didn't continue it throughout the rest of the top, so I don't know if it really counts. If you look at jeans, you'll notice that they have a thick strap that goes down the side, and so cutting that, I realized, oh, this would make a really great strap, so I made straps out of that instead of throwing it away. My sewing machine can't handle fabric this dense, or it's not made to work with denim, so I had to hand stitch some things on here like that. Okay, my battery's about to die, so I have to quickly blast through this, but it does have a super cute tie in the back. Now, if I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this about a 7, just because I don't like the unfinished interior. It's a little hard on the skin, but I do think it's pretty stylish and pretty cute. I do enjoy wearing it. I think it's very flattering. Maybe I can go back and fix that and add a lining to that bottom portion. But that's gonna wrap it up for me today, guys. I am super excited to start filming again, and I hope to see you in the next one.